Okay, welcome back, guys. Kind of started on Unreal Engine learning. What should I call it now? So basically, I started learning Unreal Engine. So I figured any tutorial I kind of learn, or whatever tips and ideas I kind of learn from watching tutorials, I kind of show you guys also too. So that being said, a big shout out to Bad Decisions for their free, I think 4 days training. Okay, kind of gave me a good general idea of how to use Unreal Engine, though I'm still way far off. But anything I kind of learn, I would like to recreate that also too and then share to you guys. So this is just going to be me sharing you guys my journey and then converting that journey into a tutorial to actually share with you guys. So that basically, so what we're going to be creating in this tutorial will be this scene with the rendering and pretty much everything in here in Unreal Engine. So I'm going to be showing you guys or rather not my step, but once again, big shout out to Bad Decisions for the tips shared. So I just kind of modified mine a little bit more and then render this out. So I'm going to be showing you guys how to do the same thing inside of Unreal Engine. So let's get to it. So I'm using Unreal Engine 5.7. So I'm going to create a new project. So I'll go over to film and live events. So I want to kind of create a blank document. So I'll select that. Okay. And I'm going to name this project to Blade Blade Runner. So I'll need to Unreal Engine doesn't like space, so I'm going to put underscore in there. Okay. All right, underscore scene. Or let me use open scene instead. Okay. Oh, I think my is way too long, so let's just leave it at Blade Runner for now. Blade Runner. All right. So I'm going to click on create. So this might take a while to actually create. So let's click on that. So it's creating our project for us. So I'll just give this a moment because it's going to compile. And then once it's done compiling, it's going to create our scene for us. Then we can start the process right away. All right. Yeah. So also to while this is kind of loading, let me show you guys the assets we'll be needing for this. So I just need to open the Epic launcher. So pretty much need like three assets. One asset from Megascan, another asset that was provided by Bad Decisions. I'm going to drop the link for that asset in description. Then another statue asset from the Fabs marketplace. So if I should open up the Fabs marketplace now. Okay, so that particular is a kind of a landscape mesh. So I believe it's called Gigantic Tundra. I believe. Even though I don't get the spelling right, it should give us something. Right here, this is the one. So this is the one we'll be needing. So you want to it's actually a free asset. So you want to select that and then add that to the library. That's one. And then I got another pack from I think Statue. Okay. So this search for this. So I got another free asset pack. I should be able to find that in here. So let's filter this. I go to filter price. Okay. I believe should be one of this. Trying to find the exact asset pack I used. Okay. So found it. This is the one. So four status, two variations. So this is the actual one that I used. So you can select that also too and download that. But typically, once you have Unreal Engine open, you should see kind of add to projects in there. So you can get this pack also too. So that's kind of pretty much it. The last one is just the Officer K file animation FBX. So I will drop a link for that. Let's just allow Unreal Engine to open up and then we'll get right to it. All right, so we have Unreal Engine opened now. So personally for me, I had to kind of change my navigations to something similar to Maya. So I had to use the settings in here. So in case you want to use the same settings, you can. Okay, so I'm basically using Alt to do pretty much anything I want to do here. Okay, or you can still use the normal navigations if you feel like. All right, so what you needed to kind of change to kind of get this to work similarly to Maya, you just need to kind of turn on this invert middle mouse pan, and then you should be pretty much good. Yeah, you should pretty much good. So I can pretty much use my alt and the middle mouse scroll to kind of move up and down. I can zoom in with the middle mouse. No, I can zoom in with the alt and then the right mouse click. Then I can pretty much orbit with the alt and left mouse click. So similar to that of Maya. But in case you still want to use the default controls for Unreal Engine, you can still do that also too. So I'm going to be hitting control and space bar to let me close this. Yes, so if I hit control and space bar, I can bring out my content browser, hit that, close that. So the default navigations inside of Unreal Engine would be more or less like almost as if you're kind of gaming. So W2, oh, that's quite fast. That's quite fast. So I think I can reduce the speed for that. I can pretty much reduce the speed for that if I should go over. So if you go over perspective just in front, click on the arrow, you should find speed. So if I should increase that a little bit more, you can see how that kind of speed things up way too fast. So if I reduce this quite all the way down, okay, if I should do this now, you can see how with the W key and kind of zooming in, it's S to zoom back out, then the A key kind of move to the left side, then the D key to move to the right side. So whichever one is kind of preferable for you guys to actually use, that is fine. Nobody keeps doing that. Okay. All right. So you have always prefer to use the Maya navigation tools for this. So I also need to kind of increase the speed because speed is now is a bit too slow for me. So let me increase the speed a little bit more. All right. So whichever one is kind of convenient for you guys to use, you can use that. So now, if now we have our landscape itself, if I should just go out, zoom out like so. Okay. So if we select our landscape and I can hit F to kind of frame in on it. So in case maybe you click out and you want to kind of frame into the objects, let's say I go like far away like so. I can just select it and hit F to frame into it. All right. So we also have our various lights set up in here. Let me just get some space in here. So whichever object you select, you would have the details in here on this your details panel around here. Most of the details you have, you find in there. So this direction light kind of simulates your light source in here. So we have the direct light. So if I should click on Control L, Okay, and still hold down control. I can kind of move my lights around. You can see, kind of do something like so. Okay. Also, we have the exponential height for atmosphere, the skylights. Now this one kind of creates like, let me show you guys if I should turn this off. You can see, then you can see atmosphere as well. Then we have our skylight. It's not doing too much, most like kind of feel light around the environment. Okay, then we have our volumetric clouds. All right. So now we need to kind of bring in our assets into our file. So I already have it somewhere else. So I'm just going to bring it into the same folder. Let me just do that. If I go to my file manager, so I'm going to pretty much be reusing the same file. So contents, so assets. Okay. So I should go back here under fab. Let's bring our megascan asset into it. But before we do that, we need to save this file. So let's save. Okay. So the file itself, when we go in here, I'm going to copy this. So let's do copy. All right. I'll go over to Blade Runner under my contents. All right. I'm just going to, maybe let's just create a new folder in here. Create a new folder in here. I'll just name this to assets. Okay. And I'll create another. Okay, let me just paste it in here instead. So it should be in here. So if I should come in control spacebar assets, you can see the landscape in there. All right. Also, to another content I would like to bring in here will be our starter contents. So I'll go over and find that. If you're using previous version, you should have that already. So I'm just going to copy that. Starter contents, I'll copy this as well. I'll move back to the Blade Runner folder. I think you can just paste this. Okay, let's just paste this in here instead. Okay, so we have our starter content as well. All right. So you can see our starter content in there too. Okay. So which is fine. Okay, another file I would like to grab would be the mannequin characters also too. Kind of get mannequins for the mannequin asset. So I'll grab this character pack. I'll grab this. Let me use copy. Okay. I'll paste this in here. Assets. Let me just paste this outside instead. Let me just paste this here. All right. Yeah, I think we should be good. Yes. So I should open the character asset now. Open mannequins and I open meshes. So let's just drag this in here. Okay. I should definitely increase the speed a little bit more. Okay. Then I'll just drag and drop this in here just to get a good idea of how I'm going to have to frame into it. Just to get a good idea of the size of our entire landscape. Okay. So which is looking good. Yeah, that's fine. So now the next asset I would like to bring in would be the Megascan asset. So under assets, we double click on this, open this up, open this static meshes. So this is static mesh. So I'm just going to drag and drop this in our scene. So it's quite large. It's a massive scene. To click the frame. Okay. So there are no materials applied to it on yet. If I should go back, you can see we should see be able to see the materials that should be applied to it. Alright, so if you notice now, there are no actual textures being applied to it. So typically when you kind of download the file from Fabs itself and then you click on add to project, it's going to by default add those textures to the material instance. But since I'm kind of bringing it from an external file and putting it into the folder, it doesn't seem to kind of connect that. So I'm going to show you guys how to kind of connect that. So if I should go over to the, let's go back one step. Let's go back one step. Should be able to go back. Okay. Just be like an arrow. Okay, yes, this is it. So I'll go back in here. If I click on this, you can see textures in here, but the textures has not been applied yet. So to apply the material in there, apply the textures to the material itself, we need to select it, make sure it's selected, make sure the mesh is selected. So this is the mesh down here. So select, make sure it's selected. Then scroll down, you see materials. But before we kind of apply it in here, we would need to make sure it's selected in our content browser. So if we go to materials, select that, control tab, then we click on set. You selected asset from content browser. So you can see it's been applied now, but there are no textures in there. So I'm going to double click on it. Okay, it's going to bring out uh this tab, whatever it's called, this tab for it. So to apply that in there, you should be able to come out. You should see something like so. But you won't be seeing this if you kind of downloaded it directly from Fabs. I'm going to show you guys also to an example. But before we do that, let's just apply this in here. So for the textures, for control tab to bring out our content browser, click on textures. So I believe this is the base texture. So select that and we'll click use from selected. Okay. Specular, we'll leave that at default. Ambient occlusion, roughness, and metal. So let's go in there. So this is the file. Okay, close that, set it in there. It should automatically kind of take up and apply itself to the various channels, which is precisely what we need. Then if we go to our normal, okay, so select the normal and we just send this in. So it's also been applied. Fantastic. Do we have pitchforks? I think that should be okay. We have, this is whose texture is this? Name is not shown in there. Okay, I think most of what we need is already applied. Not entirely sure what this material is though, but moving on. So I'm going to save this. I would save. Okay, if I should close this now, you can see how the material now has been applied. The material has been applied to this. It's a pretty large material. So I'm going to hit R on the keyboard and then I want to kind of undo that. I want to kind of scale this down. So I'm going to lock this and I'm going to scale this down. Okay. Then I'm going to frame into it. Then we can kind of go around and check this, scale this down some more, frame into it. I need to increase this speed a little bit more, kind of a bit slow. All right, that's fine. Let's find this at an angle. You can see the details in there as well. We'll kind of shrunk this down. Now, if you don't want to kind of go through the entire process of applying the materials one by one, you can just go to your content browser and you should find Fabs in here. So once that open, pretty much all you need to do is just to type or rather find the menu, and then it should be directly applied in there. So let's say we find rock, and for rock. So yes, okay. Let's do let's just we're looking for just a generic. Oh, it's an interesting one. Okay. Let's say I want to kind of fill the background with some kind of rock formation. Let's say I'm using this. If I select this, just for example, I think it has price tag in there. Let's go back. It's actually free, so we can use that since it's actually free. Let me use this instead. I think I'm liking this instead. Okay. We would click on. Okay, so all you need to do is to go in here, selecting announce here. Just use this thing for individual creator, small team, not a small team with not more than 1K revenue. So 8K revenue. So select that. So once you do that, you just need to click on add to projects. So you need to choose the format too. So let's say I'm using the medium format here. I'll just click on add to projects. I'll just and click accept. So just start downloading, and it's going to download into our project. Okay. I mean projects. Is it downloading somewhere, or is it done downloading? Let's confirm. Okay. Something might be doing something wrong. So I just be doing something wrong. So let's go back. Let's find something not big, I guess. And maximize this. Then we'll do a search. Let me do stone. Okay. Let's kind of filter to free for the free items. Yeah, this is a good one. Yeah, medium quality art projects. Yeah, I'm looking for something down here. So I'm basically trying to show you guys that when load directly from Fabs, it will automatically come with the materials being applied. So it's important. Let's give this a moment to import. Minimize. Okay, it's done importing. Okay, I can safely close this. So you can see it here now under Fabs Mega Scan 3D store medium. Okay, this is it. Then for materials, you notice that it should come with its material being applied already. I believe so, yes. Okay. Then we have the okay, still preparing the shaders, I believe it's still kind of calculating at the background. So I should double click on this. Yes, as you can see, it tells you how the material is already applied in there. Okay. Or probably it's still kind of compiling. All right, so that kind of gives you a clear, okay, updating texture. It's still kind of doing its thing at the background. Let me just allow this just run through and then I'll come back when this is done. Okay, I think it's done now, as you can see. So I'm just kind of showing you guys the difference there when you import externally and when you kind of download from Fab directly. So with that out of the way now, can close this. I'm sure you guys get the general idea now. So what I'm going to do with this now is to kind of duplicate, okay, undo that, is to duplicate this across my scene. So I'll move this here, okay, I'll hold Alt, create another duplicate here, rotate this, let me rotate this like so, a bit more rotation, like this should be fine. All right, I'll select these two to scale them out. Undo that. My scaling is a bit weird. Let's just do let's just select them individually. Probably selecting something else. That's a bit strange. Let's find the scale. This for the scale. I'll toggle that off. Something is oddly wrong. Not sure what that is though, but that's it's fine. We can just select them and then just do the scaling in here. Gonna scale them individually here. Okay. Select the two. Hold Alt again and then extend them. Okay, hold Alt and then get another duplicate somewhere around here. Okay. Something like so. I need to rotate this also. Rotate. Okay. And do one more rotation. I don't think it's rotated 90 degrees. Let's get something like so. I'll just put this here. I'll bring it forward. Select this one on the other side. Rotate this as well. Okay. Yeah, that is fine. So let's find our mannequin. F to frame to it. We need to bring our mannequin out like so. Okay, and let's find a good place to kind of place our mannequin where we don't have too much water on our landscape. So let's find the water is still fine, still going to give it an interesting results regardless. But I think let's move somewhere around here. Okay. Yeah, I think here should be fine. So we just need to make our seats on the floor now. Move this up a bit more. Yeah, that should be fine. Okay. Can move her back slightly some more around here. Frame into it again. Pull her out. All right. So we're basically looking at this from this angle like so. I'm going to rotate her to face somewhere around here. Okay. So I'm going to do a quick save for my file. So we have something facing around this angle like so. So this is where our kind of main shot is likely going to be. I can also select this and extend it out a bit more, make it quite bigger. Okay, and move this forward some more. Okay, maybe here also like so. Okay, that is fine. Get her to sit down again. Okay, so now I need to kind of bring out my reference. Let me close this because at this point now we would need the reference to actually capture the shots shots quite well. So I need to go back and then open that up so we can bring the reference into PRF in here because we need that to kind of actually pick the colors we need for it. So I just need to pick just one frame. Any frame should be fine. So I'll just pick this frame and just drop this in here, scale this out. Okay, and I will tell kind of frame to selection. All right, maybe extend this out a bit more this way. Okay, all right, so we can just pretty much put this here. So now if you go in and then we just control W again and then let's do this again. Control W, and then we can move our lights around and get some kind of scene. You can see our sunlight also in here, all the way to the far end. You can see how we're kind of creating an interesting scenery in here. It's looking quite nice. I'll go back in there. I would like to get the sunlight to be somewhere around here. Okay, so the first thing to do is to kind of eliminate this any harsh shadows we're getting in here. Okay, I think we should just do that in the next lesson because this is already feeling long enough. I would like to turn off. This is the that's for the rotates. I think I'll toggle this off. Then we can properly by ourselves position this where we need it to be, like so. And we get this nice scenery. So in the next lesson, we're just going to continue on and then keep applying what needs to be applied to this. But so far, so good. All right. So I'll see you guys in the next lesson. Bye for now.